Welcome to the Bible Gossip Podcast. I am your host, Katie Fellman. I am going to go book by book and chapter by chapter, verse by verse into the Bible. If you've never read the Bible, now is a great time to join me. We're starting at Genesis, so let's dive in. Okay, so we're diving into chapter 8. Chapter 8 is chapters 6, 5, 6, and 7, all leading up to the flood, then the flood, and now chapter 8 is called The Flood Subsides. So, chapter 8, verse 1, let's dive in. But God remembered Noah and all of the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. Finally, the rain from the heavens were restrained, and the waters receded from the earth continually. At the end of 150 days, the waters had abated. And in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. And the waters continued to abate until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the tops of the mountains were seen. So I did a little looking up. The mountains of Ararat are modern day Eastern Turkey. So kind of interesting, just to give you a geological area of where this is all going on. And verse number 6, at the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark he had made, and he sent forth a raven. It went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. So this tells me he sent out the raven to check to see if there is land, and the raven did not come back. So that also kind of shows the strength of a raven. It's not saying the raven landed or there was anywhere for the raven to land. Only the tippy tops of the mountains are showing right now. So the strength of the raven to keep, flying around until he found somewhere to settle. Pretty interesting. Verse 8 here says, then, so the raven doesn't come back. So I was like, all right, that's bad plan. Let's pick another. Verse 8, then he sent forth a dove from him to see that the waters had subsided from the face of the ground. But the dove found no place to set her foot, and she returned to him to the ark, for the waters were still on the face of the whole earth. What I also think is kind of interesting, and in this verse 9, doves have been used for, centuries as messengers and messenger pigeons and stuff. So we live in a small town, and we have pigeons, and I've always called them doves, and my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, those are like street rats, they're bird rats. And nothing special, but they are related, by the way, pigeons and doves. And it's their fault, the pigeons, it's their fault that they are kind of homeless. They were man's messengers for many, many, many years. Then we got telephones, and who needed doves anymore? So it's not their fault. Be kind to the pigeons and the doves. Okay, so let's continue on. We did verse 9. The dove had nowhere to go. So he put his hand and took her and brought her into the ark with him. He waited another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came back to him in the evening, and behold, in her mouth was a freshly plucked olive leaf. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the earth. Also, we always know, like, the olive branch, extend the olive branch. That is a symbol of like friendship, treaty, like safe harboring, all good signs is the olive branch. So he waited another 7 days and sent forth the dove, and she did not return to him anymore. So that tells me she found somewhere safe to land. She's good. The earth is good to wander. In the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. In the 7th month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried out. Then God said to Noah, go out from the ark, you and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living creature that is with you, all flesh, birds and animals and creeping things that creep on the earth, that they may swarm on the earth. So they're free. They're out of the ark finally. And be fruitful and multiply on the earth. So Noah went out, and his sons and his wives and his sons' wives with him. oh, sorry, and his wife. He did not have multiple wives. His wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, every bird, everything that moves on the earth went out by families from the ark. Can you imagine living on an ark with all those animals, all that responsibility for as long as he did? So, it's interesting because in the Bible there is so much waiting. And so it's interesting. And I know I say it's interesting a lot, but it is. It's crazy because it's like, can you imagine living on one nowadays, living with your family, like your born family for that long, on tight quarters with all these animals? Like, imagine just what it felt like, what it smelled like, what it must have been like. And in those last days, I'm sure like food is starting to get old. Their stores are probably running low. I would start to wonder and question, like, is this really what I was supposed to do? But as you saw, God said he was going to flood the earth and he follows through. He did what he said he was going to do. So I would have some serious faith that God is going to write this out, right? Okay, so they're free, they're on the earth, they're out of the ark, and now we come into God's covenant with Noah in verse 20. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord and took some of every clean animal and some of every clean bird and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer, winter, day and night shall not cease. So this is pretty huge because I think, okay, so I always look at this as like a parent relationship, right? So God is the father. He's looking at Noah. Noah's the son. And like, have you ever been so upset with your kids that you maybe like raged a little too hard and then you finally like breathe and you're like, "God, that was too rough. Like that was too harsh. That was too," and then you come to your child and you're like, "Hey, like I'm so sorry. Like, I will never yell at you like that again. I will never lose my cool like that again. I will never, fill in your your thing that you are guilty of." And so, but here's the difference. We're not God. We're human. We are not going to be perfect and divine and be able to hold all our promises all the time. The only person, or I mean, he's not even a person, he's God. The only one who can do that is God. And so he says, I'll never do that again. And I think he realized, like, yeah, that was harsh. And he sees Noah is good and he followed through. And so it's like, all right, I've cooled off. I'm ready to forgive again. Please, please no, I'll never do that again. I think we as parents need to take into consideration sometimes, have a little like forgiveness for ourselves when we freak out like that, and have big meltdowns, because our kids don't deserve to have those meltdowns. And I think we need to when you repent, that's when we feel guilty and we give it to God and we're like, I'm sorry. But the other part of repentance is changing your behavior. You can't just be a hothead and going off and go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again, because then now your word means nothing. So what God has shown us in the Bible is his word is everything. When he says he's going to do something, he means it. He's going to follow through. And that's what we can take away as parents is, and his promises to us as well as his children, is he's going to follow through. And so when we walk with God, when we're righteous, we can trust that he's got us and he's holding us close. And when we are straying off that path, that's when he might try to course correct us, get us back in the path of righteousness with him. But same with our children. Like, we need to be firm in what we tell our children. And when I say, this is what I say, this is what I mean, this is what I'm doing, I feel like that creating those boundaries with our children are so freaking essential and important. And because, I mean, do you question God when he's shown you over and over again that he's going to do what he says? No, you're like, okay, God, I'm going with you. I'm doing it. And our kids will be the same. They will respect us the same way when we put down the foot and we go, no, I'm doing what I said I'm going to do. So, it's just we have to hang in there and do that for our kids and do that for ourselves and have that trust in God that He's got us when we're following what He's saying and following the word. And again, this is why I love reading this book, because, and I'm so glad for anyone who's listening and reading this with me, because the more we read, the more we know, and the more that these messages do make sense. And so this is my first time reading it. I'm loving it. And there's so many good lessons in here, and I hope you guys are taking that away as well. So chapter 8 was a quickie. We got the flood. He's out of the ark. Let's see what God has in store for Noah from here forward.